Right now at 6, tragedy in Gresham. What we're learning about the teenager authorities say was killed by a stray bullet from a neighboring apartment.
You never think something like this will happen so close to where you live.
Plus, the team cracking down on organized retail theft, now facing budget cuts.
Currently, the way the budget sits as it's proposed is going in the wrong direction.
Then, sea lions on the move as hundreds take over part of the Columbia in search of salmon, and lawmakers try to protect both.
At a 25%, all the way up to nearly half of these runs will be decimated.
And later in sports, Dame time put on hold. The devastating injury that could set Damian Lillard's championship quest back an entire season.
We begin at 6 with a grieving family and a search for answers after officials in Gresham say an 8th grader, a 13-year-old boy, was struck and killed by a stray bullet. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. Police say the teenager was hit while he slept in his bed. It happened early Sunday morning after someone fired shots into a neighboring apartment. Investigators have not made any arrests. Daisy Caballero is live at the complex along Southwest 11th Street. Daisy, what have you learned?
Yeah, David, Christine, Gresham police tell me that the teen split time between both parents, with his dad living in this apartment complex behind me. I also spoke with neighbors, and they say they're pretty shaken up.
You never think something like this will happen so close to where you live.
Flashing lights lit up this Southwest Gresham neighborhood early Sunday morning after reports of a shooting inside 11 Pines apartments. Gresham police confirming the victim was a 13-year-old boy who was fatally hit by a stray bullet while asleep.
I don't know that there are appropriate words to describe that. It's the definition of unimaginable.
Adam Wright is a detective with Gresham PD and says multiple rounds went through the walls, one of them striking Liam Bailey. A family friend confirmed his identity with KGW.
One of our highest priorities is to protect the integrity of that investigation, so I can't talk about what detectives are learning right now.
A second person was also hit by gunfire. They were transported to the hospital with serious but not life-threatening injuries.
I'll tell you, it's a tough day. It hurts.
Multnomah District Attorney Nathan Vasquez says he has reached out to the teen's family and will be dedicating needed resources from his office for the ongoing investigation.
The people that are responsible for this, they will be held accountable. And this violence is it's sickening and unacceptable.
Many neighbors tell me they didn't hear the gunfire, but the flashing lights woke them, including Emma Redfern.
Something this aggressive, definitely not anything I've ever seen. I mean, we've had police over here before, but nothing like this.
Emma says she feels this loss deeply and can only imagine what Liam's family is going through.
And my little brother is 13 years old, and if something like this were to happen to him, I'd be absolutely heartbroken. So.
Yeah, and Gresham police also told me that the second shooting victim is expected to survive, but couldn't share their involvement currently at the time. But if you'd like to help the family, you can go to KGW.com and donate to their GoFundMe page. Back to you guys.
Yes, thinking of that 13-year-old's family as we speak. Thank you, Daisy.
In your headlines tonight, a man who was shot near Portland's South Waterfront has now died from his injuries. The shooting was reported just before 10:30 Sunday night near Southwest Harrison and Harbor Drive. The man died in the hospital. So far, his name hasn't been released. No word on any suspects or arrests.
In Tualatin, 9 people are without a home tonight after an early morning duplex fire. It was reported just before 5 on Southwest 68th Avenue off Sagard. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue says everyone and their 4 pets got out safely. Fire crews found heavy smoke coming from a garage that extended into one of the units and into the attic. One person was treated at the scene. At this point, no word on the cause.
And in Eugene, some 4,000 student workers at the University of Oregon walked off the job this morning after contract negotiations with the university reached an impasse. The union represents undergrad students who work as resident assistants in the dorms, in dining halls, and in the student union. The union is pushing for a 25% increase in wages from a minimum of $14.70 to $18.50 an hour. The university says it's offering a 5% first-year increase, following by a 3% annual bump for each of the next 2 years. It does not appear classes or most university services will be impacted. Matt?
All right, David, we will be impacted by a weak weather system that's moving north through BC right now, but it won't bring us very much rain. But when you see cloud formations like this up on Mount Hood, it usually means there's something going on in weather, that there's a change afoot, and there is, as these clouds have been hugging the top of the mountain here for the last several hours and been getting thicker and lower. 47 degrees at 6,000 feet in the Mount Hood National Forest, so a little bit cool up there. But it's the wind that really catches my attention because it indicates the strong onshore flow. Same thing in the Dalles, west at 15, but gusting to nearly 30, and it's been picking up. And that usually happens when we have an incoming weather system, which we do. It's not a very strong one, but it'll bring us a few sprinkles tomorrow morning. The valleys still look great. We're in the 60s. The winds are not bad at all. We will wake up to some drizzle or some light rain showers, but they're going to move on pretty quickly. Our highs today were in the low to mid 60s, and our highs tomorrow, in spite of some showers in the morning, will still make the low to mid 60s, so not that big of a change temperature-wise for us from today to tomorrow, in spite of the fact that we have some showers in the morning hours. It won't amount to a whole lot of rain. Then we ride the weather roller coasters. Things warm up and clear up for the rest of the week, and then we go back down to showers this weekend. So we'll detail all of this a little bit later, guys. Back.
Yeah, roller coaster, great way of putting it. Thanks, Matt.
This evening, a very public dispute continues, with Multnomah County's district attorney once again responding to the county's proposed cuts to his office.
This time, Nathan Vasquez is highlighting what it could mean for the fight against retail crime. Devin Haskins is live downtown with the details. Devin?
Well, David and Christine, the DA's office says as part of the proposed budget cuts, his office has elected to cut a prosecutor and an investigator assigned to the retail theft unit if those budget cuts go through. And he says if that happens, that could mean fewer retail missions, large-scale retail missions to crack down on this problem.
That was hitting hundreds.
Multnomah County's district attorney is once again raising alarms over budget cuts, this time warning they could gut efforts to crack down on organized retail theft. Nathan Vasquez says his office asked for more resources to tackle retail crime, not less.
Sadly, this is one of the areas that the chair has chosen not to fund. It is difficult from this office's perspective to see why this wouldn't be an area that, in fact, we would look to increase.
Under Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson's proposed budget, the DA's office says it would have to cut around $3 million of its budget. And as part of those cuts, Vasquez chose to cut an investigator and the sole prosecutor assigned to retail theft, a one-time funded position.
Should I not prosecute child abuse? Should I not prosecute the horrific, vehicular fatalities we're seeing in the community? What about robberies? What about violent assaults? It has to come from somewhere.
He says if the cuts go through, his office would have to pull back on big operations targeting crime rings. It's not just major retailers Vasquez is worried about, but also small businesses.
We are not able to do that type of work where we're going after these, these fencing operations and organized operations that are causing millions of dollars of damage and loss in our community.
Multnomah County faces a $77 million budget shortfall. More than 100 positions and several programs are on the chopping block. Chair Vega-Peterson says almost every department was asked to make cuts. And in a statement released Thursday, she pushed back against the DA's public criticism of the budget, saying, "No one jumps the line and gets special treatment because they go on TV and talk loudly." Vasquez fired back Monday, saying public safety funding hasn't kept up with the county's growth, and argues programs that directly impact crime, like the organized retail theft unit, shouldn't be on the line.
And of course I'm going to be public about it, because this community deserves to know what they're losing.
These cuts are just one of the many that are within the DA's office that would make up that $3 million budget cut. The DA's office says it'll work with the county commissioners up until the final vote to see how much they are going to have to cut, or if they can get more of that money put back and maybe cut somewhere else within the county's overall budget crisis. That vote coming up in mid-June. Back to you.
More debate to come on this budget proposal. Devin Haskins reporting live in downtown. Thank you, Devin.
All right, and sticking with that budget theme, let's talk about lawmakers in Olympia who just before the deadline, the end of the legislative session, have managed to pull together a $77 billion budget and send it over to the governor's desk. We'll talk about that in just a second. We've been talking about the Evergreen State, $16 billion budget gap in the hole over the next 4 years, trying to close that. Republicans pushing for steeper cuts. Democrats in the majority obviously saying that steeper cuts like that could be harmful. Let's show you where they landed, though, again on this proposal. The governor considering this nearly $9 billion in new or increased taxes. No furloughs for state employees, no money taken from the state's rainy day fund there. The budget does include $100 million to hire new law enforcement officers. Okay, the price tag here. You knew there would be one, right? Gas tax, 6 cents a gallon going up starting July. Tax hikes for businesses. Number 3, the capital gains tax increase will go up as well. And then finally, an EV tax. Why not? This only is for Tesla, at least for now. Okay, the governor, we've talked about him. He's broadly opposed major tax increases of any kind. He has not said if he'll sign the budget, though says it's better than the original version.
You know, what I've emphasized is a balanced approach. It's a real challenge we have. Appreciate the hard work of the legislature these past 100 days or so. But of course, I'll be taking a close look to see, hey, what stays in the budget and what might need to come out.
Lawmakers also passed a controversial bill limiting how much landlords can increase the rent, so caps of sorts, 7 to 10% a year, depending on inflation. Christine?
Thank you for that, David. And tomorrow is the deadline to register for Oregon's special election. That is on May 20th. And for those of you in East Multnomah County, a voting center just opened today to make sure you're ready to vote. The Voting Center Express office is in the Multnomah County East building on Northeast 8th Street in Gresham. Staff are ready to help with things like registration issues and replacement ballots to make voting easier for a diverse community.
We've noticed in East County that we have a higher percentage of voters that speak other languages such as Spanish, and we have Spanish on hand here at the Voting Center Express, and we also are able to use our translation line to provide translation services for other languages.
The Voting Center Express is open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday through the May 20th election. The main elections office in Portland also offers the same services.